Well, you won't get a lemon from Toyota of Orange.
Wrestling buddies want to be your buddy.
Drug-free's the way to be.
What do you think you're doing?
Well, Miss Musso, we were just doing a promo.
Welcome to Home Wrestling League.
I am Penny Dreadful, joined by Juno Gimmicks Needed Radley and Crystal the Casual at the Unicorn Soundboard, and this is Home Wrestling League. And we're going to eventually figure out and determine if Bo Dallas or Paul Heyman was the better actor this week. It's going to come close, I'm pretty sure. But I already have a pick for myself. First up on the undercard, congratulations are in order for Rhea Ripley and Buddy Matthews. For him, that was definitely a kayfabe injury. They got married in that little, goth marriage thing that they do. At first, when I saw the posting, I was like, oh, that's so cute. But of course, I had my sound off because I usually do. And then the next time I saw it, I heard the Addams Family theme music. I was like, aw, how cute. Congratulations to them.
I love Rhea Ripley's descent into being a goth because when she started, she was that
like a blonde surfer girl.
Blonde surfer Australian. And then everything is just like textbook goth with her.
Have you seen like her older photos?
Yeah.
She's so like
she's young. Mm-hmm.
She's so like sunny and blonde. I'm like, oh, that's the same person.
Yeah.
When she was in the Mae Young tournament, like it's this sunny blonde girl, and like there was a couple weeks ago, episodes ago, because now we're doing episode 23. I put the old footage of her like 10 years ago, and she looks completely different. Like her transformation is insane.
Moving on. Dijak is already done. Is he the first casualty of the draft?
Yeah.
Jesus. Why did I know that would be him? You know what? I feel like a lot of us at the time were like, oh, here's these supplemental guys. And I'm looking up, see what's going on. Like, what happened? Because we didn't see him at all. And he said that he actually knew that him being drafted to Raw and that supplemental was like the death knell. He knew it was over at that moment. And I was like, wow. Because
he came up when they had the Occupy, or I don't even know, it was like anonymous. They had an anonymous storyline where they would just wreck shit. This was during pandemic, and he was one of the guys who came up, and I just find it hilarious. I think what genuinely happened was he was getting main roster money for not being on screen at all. It was like Odyssey Jones is the king right now because like
right. I was thinking, who's the other one who's not going to be on Raw, but he's
never taken a bump, getting main roster money. Shout out to him. Like when wrestlers realize that you don't have to take bumps to get paid, it's the best. And
he was there for 7 years in NXT. That's a long time.
That's the weird part. Like anytime I saw Dijak, I was just like, why the fuck is he here? Because like the last PWG show I went to was Bola 2017, and him and Keith Lee had a fucking banger. And I was just like, oh, this guy is gonna be in the main roster. He'll be fine. And then it was like a year later, I'm like, why is he still here? And then another year happened, and then another year happened, and then he went up to Raw for that little bit, and then Vince McMahon got tired, and then he went back to NXT, and then another year, and I'm like, what?
Oh, he was on Raw for like 2 seconds?
Yeah, he was a part of the, like I was saying, Mustafa Ali had the whole, it was like, they were like anonymous, they beat up people, and they just showed up on screen, and it was part of,
they didn't seem to know what they were doing.
Well, yeah.
Just had to make stuff up during the pandemic,
After a certain point, I was just like, I don't think he's ever going to come up. And he just never came up. Like when he got drafted, I'm like, oh, cool. Finally. All right. Sweet.
Right? Yeah.
And then, he never got a chance to do. Yeah.
All right. Let's get into Raw. You know what? Finally, they're learning how to really use 3 hours of TV to build a whole thing. Because I was making my notes and I was like, what do I want to hit on? What stuck out to me? But there was so many things, even the backstage promos, you know, built 2 or 3 stories at a time in between like a match or even just a commercial break. Like the promo that Drew had in the back with Adam Pearce talking about how he wants a Money in the Bank thing. And he was like, he gave him the business. He leaves and Liv Morgan comes out to do her thing. I was like, look at look at you work. Look at you cook. Good for you. I was honestly a little surprised to see him just walk out first thing, no music, nothing, whatever.
Yeah, because the episode was weird because Pat wasn't there, and you find out later that Pat's father-in-law passed away.
Oh,
like,
did he? Aw.
I think it was like unexpected, so that's why it was considered a family emergency.
Aw. I didn't know he was married.
Yeah, they're about to have they either just about to have a kid or just had a kid.
Okay, bless.
Like he signed the richest contract in ESPN, so know, he has the money and yeah.
It kind of feels like they're doing whatever the fuck they want with other Drew and CM Punk, like brands be damned. It keeps us on our toes. I like it.
Yeah, I mean the only reason like Punk was there is because it was Chicago. And
exactly.
That all happened.
And yet that kind of just works. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's why Nick Aldis got pushed within an inch of his life. So like. It was just like, hey, I don't fucking listen to you, and then it pissed off Adam Pearce, and they have the storyline with that.
So more Braun Breaker. I guess in this match he just had, he looked like the babyface, and I honestly expected him to be a heel. What with the way he's been presented as a problem, and he's always in trouble for busting somebody up, killed Ricochet, all that kind of stuff. As a babyface, he might be off the charts good because he really knows how to work that crowd. It seems like ingrained in him.
It's almost like he was born into the business.
It's almost like he's related to someone. I always sounds like he has the genes.
I don't know if they want him to
drop in Canada.
Drop in Canada. It could be SummerSlam and it means more. And
yes, I think so too. Yeah.
When they start doing the shit at the Tudum, he still have the belt.
Tudum. Yes.
I don't know why they call it Tudum because there was a show, it's called, and this is me showing my dorkiness, The Dragon Prince. Yes, it is a show for children, but it is actually really cool, very well written, very fun. They have a little monster creature and he does the Tudum sound instead of the Tudum, but he goes it really is ba-bomb. It's not Tudum. It's ba-bomb.
I agree. Oh, is it? Boom. Yes.
Because that's he just goes. He goes.
Ba-bomb. Part of me wants Crystal to read the Steiner Math promo, like word for word, because it's just like his uncle makes the most hilarious promo about unnecessary math. Because like I know when Crystal reads it, she's gonna fucking die because it's such a funny promo.
Is there like actual script? I'll read it if there's like a script.
Yeah.
Oh wow, it's on.
It might be like
it's on genius.com.
Yeah.
They say that all men are created equal, but you look at me and you look at Samoa Joe and you can see that statement is not true. See, normally if you go one-on-one with another wrestler, you got a 50-50 chance of winning. But I'm a genetic freak and I'm not normal. So you got a 25% at best at beating me. Then you add Kurt Angle to the mix. Your chances of winning drastically go down. See, the three-way at Sacrifice, you get a 33 1/3 chance of winning. But I got a 66 2/3 chance of winning because Kurt Angle knows he can't beat me and he's not even going to try. So Samoa Joe, you take your 33 1/3 chance minus my 25% chance, and you got an 8/13 chance of winning at Sacrifice. What? But then you have a 75% chance of winning if we was to go one-on-one. And then at 66 2/3%, I got 141 2/3 chance of winning at Sacrifice. See, yep. Joe, the numbers don't lie, and they spell disaster for you at Sacrifice.
Oh, wow.
Wrestling that, man. You have to be like this. You have to have a hand up to emphasize your numbers.
Because it's funny when you watch that promo. Yeah, when you watch that promo, you can see Petey Williams be like, wait, what?
No, that's like back in the old days. If you worked at because my mom used to work at one of the way back in the day. I'm talking like in the 70s. She worked at one of the old Sears coffee counters, and she's like, people would always try to fuck you over with the change, and that's how they do it. So I owe you this, but I'm going to give you this. But wait, no, I have this, and you give me that. And by the end of it, you've given them back what they gave you. That's the kind of math that
short
was.
changing.
The short change math.
Now, Living Zelina, that was actually pretty fun. I like Zelina on the mic. She's fucking hilarious. Like Rhea Sloppy Seconds and Dirty D. Dirty D. Are you serious? That's wild. I was cracking up.
Dirty Dom, you know.
Dirty Dom.
Dirty,
sorry.
Dirty D.
Dirty
She was
D.
deliberate about that. I was like,
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Are you kidding? That was actually very funny to me.
I'm just like, okay, yeah, like it's just we're all wasting time until Rhea gets back.
Yes.
I just love the fact that Liv Morgan won a belt and she does not defend it. Like
right, and she's like, this is super important to me, but she only brings it back to how she got it off of Rhea.
I'm trying to fuck this guy right now so I can get back at the person who fucked up my career. Like this is 4D chess at this point, because like it's just like every week Dom, like I feel it for him because he's just like, I'm doing my best not to fuck this woman, and it is so hard. It's like she's giving me chicken nuggets. She gave us a better TV. She bought us the WWE 24 game, most likely the deluxe version.
Deluxe included DLC.
With the included DLC, but it's gonna suck because I have to see Rhea on the front cover every time I play it. This is so hard. I'm trying not to fuck this woman, and
somebody
please
help
harm me.
me.
And then Finn is just like, damn, you know what? To be a good friend, I might fuck her for you. I will
shot for you.
I will definitely fuck her for you. Like, have you seen my abs? I'm definitely gonna fuck this woman for you.
Taking one for the team.
I really want Dom to fold, only for down the line, Rhea to show up and Liv to admit that she never cared about him at all, and she was only messing with him to get back at Rhea. I don't want to drop him like a bad habit.
No, they can't do my boy Dirty D like that, because like
it's so funny.
I would like that as well.
Because we know why. She keeps consistently saying why she's going after him and comparing him, comparing herself to Rhea. It's all about Rhea. It's all about Rhea. Judgment Day is gonna go up in purple flames, man. I want to see her do that to him. It's gonna be so good.
It's going up in a bisexual fire.
Bisexual fire. So speaking of Seth and Luisito, that video package. Look, I'm a stan. I think he's the best of his generation. Top guy, no question. Even I thought that was a lot. It was well made, well produced, but kind of overwrought. And the music was really annoying.
It's just like this motherfucker main evented WrestleMania like 2 months ago. You don't have to give him a welcome back package. You know what I'm saying?
You don't need to do that. The surprise coming back in the match was enough. Why are you doing that?
It just makes me think like when Becky comes back, she's gonna hey guys, remember Becky Lynch? It's like, oh, the woman
gonna get a package too.
What, the woman who main evented WrestleMania? Oh yeah, no, I know, I remember Becky Lynch now. I was like, fuck out of here, come on.
Well, not just so, but mostly so Damian could reference it in his promo, which you didn't. Fine, I guess, sure. But they added some steps to their match. If Damian wins, Seth cannot challenge him again for that title, which is like, whatever, bro. You're not gonna have that, in a couple months anyway, with Gunther down the line. Come on.
You're not gonna have that in August. Like, what was this like? Oh like man, I can't challenge for the belt for another month, and then fucking Meat Cleaver Hands is gonna have the belt. So like, what are you?
Hello, like that stip means nothing. But if Seth wins, Damian has to leave the Judgment Day, which is very interesting. So I was like, that means that Liv has to interfere to make sure he stays in the Judgment Day.
Either it's going to be that, or she's going to fuck him to lose the match, which wouldn't make any sense, so she could take over the Judgment Day.
Oh, interesting. Huh.
Yeah.
I feel like she's going to help him keep it because he's the only one who's been like resisting her.
Yeah, like
she has to find a way to get him with him.
He's the one who fucking appeared around the corner. He's the one who sees everything.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the few wrestlers that actually watches the product. Where it's just like, hey, Finn, I just saw you take that key card last week.
Right? Yeah.
Hey, Finn, I just saw you walk out of Liv Morgan's car. You want to explain what the fuck happened?
Right? Like
It's like,
I watched the tape. I watched it back. What's going on?
I feel like wrestlers don't watch the product at all.
Chad Gable is not only alive, he's qualifying for the match. All week and all evening. Right? The messaging had been kind of weird because like he's gone. He's being replaced in that match with Ilya Dragunov. Then he's back. And then he's cleared. And then that night, Kathy Kelly's backstage, like, is he okay? And Adam Pearce is like, he'll be there. I can speak to his mental state. And it's like, okay. And I'm watching, waiting. And he comes out down to the ring, acting regular, regular Chad Gable. If a little squirrely. Of course, his graphics got a little messed up when he came out. So there's some still going on there. I did not see it coming that he would come out of that match. And when I mean, Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed, like, come on, this is the big guys. It kind of cracked me up that it took all of Judgment Day to take down Braun Strowman.
That is starting to get funny.
Yes.
With the
You gotta like pile him.
Exactly. With the whole Chad Gable situation, it's just weird. Vince McMahon hasn't been there in like months, and then now they're still bringing up like, the air of Vince is still there, where it's just like, hey, this man got fucking shot in the head last week, and now he's able to wrestle this week. Yeah. So
just a Band-Aid.
Like it's very just like, did Vince really leave? But when the Band-Aid comes in and then all the extra security and him being jumpy, I'm like, are they gonna did they just like kill him to be a better human? Is that what they're doing?
It seems like that because he seems to be a little bit less of an asshole.
Yeah, like I mean, obviously he's gonna help the Creed brothers and Mini Jordan Grace, and
which they should. They need it.
Yeah, I mean they're better than Tozawa. They're better than fucking Tozawa. It's like, come on, like, and Maxine Dupree. I don't care how attractive she is. I think there was a video game in the 90s. I'm blanking on what it was, where like if you lost, it's like a fighting game. If you lost, what would happen is, hey, you lost this match. Now go be a family man. And I feel like that's what happened. Like he got beat up so bad, they were like, hey, go be a family man.
That's really funny. But he wins, gets it. Okay. Then Chad's music cuts out. Lights go down. Fog comes up. And then he just leaves. Which is kind of weird. I don't get what's going on. Because as soon as, Nikki comes out doing her creepy ring crawling, he just books. It's a little, I don't quite get what they're doing with it. It's a little weird.
I just love it was addressed to Pat McAfee. Right?
Comes out, pulls a box out from under the ring, puts it in front of Michael Cole, and just leaves through the crowd. And that's it. A little anticlimactic compared to last week, compared to the previous week. You know what I mean?
And then Michael Cole is just like, for everyone that's looking, this is a VHS.
For all you kids out there. It's so funny.
Just like, that's kind of disappointing in Michael Cole, former war correspondent, opening up somebody's mail. Because that was addressed to Pat McAfee. So, like, it's kind of real fucked up. Which you were talking about earlier. Like, you see Bo Dallas, and I was working on the show as this happened, and Crystal was there. And we're watching it. And then when they asked the main question, I was just like, oh, shit, they're really getting into it.
Right. I know. I was sitting there. I was like, oh, this is happening.
And it's like, so how do you feel since your brother died? And you're
like, turns out to be Bo Dallas being interviewed by Uncle Howdy. Someone being interviewed about their deepest, darkest, real life stuff by their alter ego.
Yeah.
He said, "Don't you feel like you're exploiting your brother's legacy?" Oh shit, came right out with it because that's what I've been hearing all week. Are you explaining like from the dummies? Do you feel like he's exploiting your brother's legacy? Why are you making money off of this? Blah, 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 like dumb tweets and shit like that. And then from like other people who are actually asking that question, what does it mean that they're carrying on what Bray Wyatt was doing? Is it exploitive? Like, boom, came out with it right away. I was like, oh shit.
We're actually watching a way to grieve
Mm-hmm.
in real time. And I know it's almost been a year, but it's just interesting that like this is the first storyline where somebody is grieving.
How did it feel when your brother died?
Well, shit. Oh my god. We say he acted his ass off, certainly, but I guess how much of it was actually acting? It was some very truly affecting stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, I get what you guys are saying. It is grieving in real time because he's using this for sure to like work through that stuff. Because his whole thing with this is that his brother wanted to do this, correct?
Yeah.
Or he's carrying on something his brother wanted to do. It's sort of like that posthumous thing where you continue someone's art after they've passed. So it usually is somewhat cathartic for the people who are left behind to continue something that person was doing. Because it kind of gives them a connection to that person even though they're not there anymore. So yeah, that was very like I was not prepared to hear what was happening on that screen. I was like,
me neither. It's an interesting place to go off rip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I wish I could find a transcript. It's been pretty difficult to find.
I think I saw someone a little while ago saying, why are you carrying on what he's doing or making money off of it? And I'm like, why not both?
Yeah, no,
Isn't that what they do?
they're still a business at the end of the fucking day.
Of course. Yeah.
Like,
why could they want to continue what he wanted to do and make money? Like, that's what they're in the business of doing.
In fact, like, how many people died of heart attacks in this? And from WWE? A lot.
And
Vince
still
McMahon's
keeps on going.
Vince McMahon, like, I mean, it's just a coincidence that all of these guys have large hearts. I mean, like, if you look at this person from 1988 and then how they magically lost 60 pounds of muscle in 1992, I had nothing to do with this.
I got off. That was not me. I won that.
Coincidence.
Oh, but an interesting Raw. It's a 3 hours that passes a lot quicker than I would have ever thought 3 hours could pass.
Okay.
Yeah, because sometimes that show could definitely drag on, but they're in a spot. They're in a sweet spot. And SmackDown is also going to be 3 hours. I don't know why they're cutting Raw by an hour and adding an hour to SmackDown. That's very interesting to me.
Well, there's no commercial. There's supposedly no commercial breaks. They're gonna have to run fucking commercials. There's like financially, it would make no sense.
Yeah. I don't know why. Are they contractually obligated to have like 5 hours of wrestling every week? I don't know.
It's hard to pitch no commercials, and like if they're doing matches, they have to have some downtime, so they have fucking commercials in between. It would only make sense for them to have commercials, and Netflix would get money.
Yeah,
I know Netflix is just like, well, we don't like commercials, and I'm like, well, I think you'll like the commercial money because commercials are going to come back into fold.
Yes,
we're getting
everyone
cable
else
again.
is doing it. And I think Netflix is the last one to not have commercials on there.
Guys, we're getting cable again. Sorry to break the news to you.
We've had it essentially.
And it's like a worse version of everything that was great when we were kids.
Right?
It's like this horrible futuristic facsimile of the 90s now.
So SmackDown wise, it really cracks me up to see like Cody randomly coming in and getting into fights without his jacket on. Because it kind of reminds me of someone getting into a fight at like a baby shower or something. Because they started that right away with all of them getting into a fight. Shows in New York, whether it's Barclays or MSG, they're always a fucking mess. Because they're crazy over there. Why do they act crazier there? I don't know what it is.
It's because of all the stress of New York.
Yeah.
It seems like a fucking crazy place. Stevie Wonder wrote "Living in the City," and if you listen to fucking "Living in the City," fucking guy comes from Georgia, literally gets off the bus, and then somebody gives him random drugs, and immediately these cops are just like, "Hey, you got these random drugs." It's like, "No, they're not mine," and then they end up fucking sending him to jail for 25 years because he literally got off the bus and somebody like gave their drugs to him and ran off. Yeah,
This
no,
is only one Stevie Wonder song?
yes.
Oh my God.
Living in the city.
Oh boy.
Hey, brother. Hey, come here, Slick. Hey, you look hip, man. Hey, you want to make yourself $5, man? Yeah, brother. You look hip.
Oh no, that's not the other song that I thought about then.
Yeah, it's not.
Is it? It's not that one. It's like living in the city.
No.
Okay, is that's what
Okay.
has the lyric? I was like, wait, is that the song that we're thinking about?
No, like the song goes for like 3-4 minutes, and then there's like a 60-second break where it's just this skit that just happens, and it's like,
Wow.
he's like, he gets off the bus, and he says,
New York, just like I pictured it. Skyscraper and everything.
Stevie Wonder can't picture nothing though.
exactly. Like it's
I mean,
a very.
that is a true account. That's what I felt like when I went there for the first and only time.
I mean, he could see
Yeah.
like shapes and blocks and shit, but like I don't think he could see like details. Like
Yeah. Mhm.
I'm shooting this on right. This is doing 4K. Like Stevie Wonder is probably like what 180p
Yes.
at the most.
At the most, yeah.
Yeah. Like I don't think it's fucking like darkness. I think you can see shapes and movements.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Like-
some in color. I'm assuming some colors.
Yes.
Like I mean, the man has multiple kids, so like he has to see something.
We talked about Lynite qualifying earlier. I was noticing that MSU was getting all the love. They were getting spoiled because they got Logan Paul in that match. We don't get a lot of Logan Paul matches in general terribly often, especially in weekly shows. So they got a good show that night. Of course, anytime you're in a big city, I feel like you got to trot out whatever the local sports hero who just lost something, because obviously anyone who's there either just won something big or just lost something big. And this time was Jalen Brunson. I never, ever need those guys to be involved in spots. I never need them to be in the ring. Just waving from the sidelines is fine for me. Why do they ever involve them? I don't want it.
Well, to be honest, like they grew up watching that shit. Like Tyrese Halliburton is like a huge fan.
Oh yeah.
Like, so much so that there's a video of him and Booker T's like at the game, and he's freaking out right before the game starts. Like, oh man, Booker T, like, oh my gosh, Sharmell. And it's like, hey, we'll talk after the game. And Tyrese is a bad motherfucker. Like both of those guys are bad motherfuckers. Like the fact that wrestling is so cool that they got two like all NBA, like all-star players to do this. Because normally it would be like, hey, check out this guy that's like one of the last guys on the bench and let him do a spot. Ha ha ha. But wrestling is so cool now that they actually got halfway decent talent to do this. I'm like, this is good. Like I'm happy. I'm happy about this. Yeah. And so it's funny because when he goes to get the chair, his hand fucks up and people online are just like, oh God, did he break his hand? And he had to put it online. It's like, no, the hand's fine. I just love that Tyrese Halliburton was there because they eliminated the Knicks from the playoffs. And they're just like boning up like, yo, this is my guy. Yo, this is my guy. And just the fact that Tyrese Halliburton is just such a nice kid that he's pretending to be a villain is fucking hilarious.
Oh God. I don't need to know them though. I haven't. It's been a very long time since I paid attention to the Knicks for good reason. Because, you get your heart broken. Okay, but moving on to the main spot of SmackDown, which is acknowledging, the new tribal chief. And Heyman taking his yearly bump. It's about once a year that Heyman takes a bump, right?
I mean, the man is in his near 60s, so like,
yeah, I was
that bump card is kind of low. And
yes, I was surprised he took the two. Like the one in the ring was enough for me. and then into the table too. That was a lot. But he looked. It was so interesting. So he let the stubble grow out. Gave him a couple days of just haggard lookingness.
Stress.
Let some of the white hair come in, right?
Mhm.
Eyes real bloodshot, like JT's mugshot, busted. And he looked legitimately pale, like he was ill. Like it wasn't makeup. He was almost as chalk white as Paul Bearer.
Paul Heyman was just like, God, this is gonna ruin the world tour. What world tour?
He actually looked super stressed out. It was very good.
Solo doing his weekend impression and then bringing out Jacob Fatu.
Mm-hmm.
And Jacob Fatu.
And for a second acting like he wasn't going to bring him out. That was weird.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and he has a halfway decent theme, even though the guys are terrible at their shit.
Yes.
He has a halfway decent theme and like fire and shit, and it looks cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then he asks Paul, like, will you acknowledge me? And Paul hit him with the Paul Atreides. No, they beat up a near 60-year-old white man. Like, it's one of those things where I'm like, man, NYPD is just slacking these days. Like, they shot somebody 30 times for trying to pick up their wallet, and then now they're just letting these Samoans beat up this white man
on television.
Thanks, Giuliani.
But man, everyone gave him. They obviously been really building to it because I was glad, crowd was glad. Says you're not. He's like, where did you get these? Where did you get these things from? Whatever fucking thing that Roman Reigns wears. Like, where did you get this? How did you? You're not my tribal chief. Man, that gotta pop. I popped. I gotta admit it. I'm not even super into the story as it is right now. And I was like, there you go. That's what you get. Set up the stage.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
But yeah, that crowd was hot, man. Because
right?
Like seeing something like that, and there's gonna have to be a lot of apologizing because of how Paul Heyman was talking shit about the fucking Usos, like after they lost in WrestleMania 39, and then like the whole and then Roman is gonna have to apologize, and then Jimmy's gonna have to apologize to Jay for giving him that terrible ass match. Like it's just a lot of apologies that are gonna happen while the new bloodline is just gonna be like, we're happy. We like beating up people.
Right? Yes.
It's like two of us are kind of talented and then everyone else kind of sucks, but we're great. And like we'll see where this goes, but it was just a really cool ending.
Yeah.
It was very
When do you think Roman comes back? Because people, I hear a lot of talk, and I'm like, he ain't coming back in no Money in the Bank. And I was like, he's not coming back this evening. It was Madison Square Garden. I don't care. He ain't coming back no Money in the Bank.
I think
it's going to be up leading up to SummerSlam, but it's not for a little while. I don't think.
It could either be Money in the Bank, which
think so?
He would like make that the end of Money in the Bank, him coming back because it's a 6-man tag, and Money in the Bank's main event usually isn't the championship match, like
right?
Because Cody's in the 6-man tag, so it would be perfect for Roman to come back.
Yeah.
I think
it's too small of a venue for him to do it. I don't know.
Well, it's one of their big 5 shows. It's either Money in the Bank or SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Well, whatever. I would guess it'd be before SummerSlam, so they could book him for SummerSlam. But I kind of wouldn't expect it to be Money in the Bank. I don't know why. I kind of feel like it's probably going to be a SmackDown. First, like MJF and Hechicero, I mean, it's a perfect move to put your hometown kids out there first, make them happy. Really great heel work from Hechicero. I enjoyed that. The match was good. It was fine. But no shade could have been on Dynamite or Collision, no problem. So I don't know why it was there. probably just to give MJF a spot on the show in Long Island. That's it.
I mean, I think they just wanted a guaranteed win. That would be more along the lines of like, oh, who's gonna win this one? But you know, with Hechizero and his fucking bullshit, he
bullshit. It was fun.
What
He
his
gave a fun
little
match.
fucking move he does.
Yeah.
Um,
He hammed it up. It's true.
you forget that Max is a halfway decent, incompetent wrestler. So, like when he's pulling out, like
Halfway is and competent. He said incompetent.
yeah,
Yeah.
when he's pulling out those moves, you're just like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, okay, I didn't really expect this, and then you're like, wait, no,
Yeah, you
he's,
tend to forget. Yeah.
yeah, it's because he's so good at talking that
Yes.
you don't
So
think
good at
he
the other
has to be
parts. Mhm.
good at anything else.
Yes.
I mean, literally the only thing that's stopping him from being the biggest star in wrestling is his height.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Yeah. What is he? 5'10"?
I think he's like 5'9", 5'8" or something.
Really?
Like you see him, you're just like,
You're regular sized.
yeah.
Your regular size.
Oh yeah,
Average.
5'8". I'm sorry. Yes, that's on the short side for
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
men in general.
Yeah, exactly. Like
I wouldn't have realized it because he's one of those.
I
that
don't
has,
body
like,
shame.
a big it's a fact. It's not shaming.
Hey,
It's a fact.
I'm body shaming. I don't do that. Okay.
Yeah, I think in America the average height is I
Like
think it's 5'9".
Yeah, I want to say it's like between like
Let's-
5'10" or something like that.
Let's find out.
Yeah, because I've been working under that assumption that it's just like when you're short, you know what everyone else is. That's what it is.
So yeah, it's
You know what the averages are, so that you can argue against it every time someone wants to call you a midget.
Yeah,
roughly they say roughly 5'9" is the height on average for a man in
Mhm.
America. So he's just under the average.
Okay, I
Which I
wouldn't
guess
have
could be
realized it. That's
Kind
interesting.
of short.
like I said, I don't body shame. So
That's not me. That's not me. That's not me. Bucks Acclaimed. They're really, really selling that Reebok stuff. And it's like some of the loudest, most visibly painful clothes I've ever seen. I always, you know what? What I want you to do, if you can, is find Susie Essman on Curb.
Mhm.
Because I always found the fucking ugliest possible clothes for her. That's what I see every time I see the Bucks. Like, you guys found the ugliest fucking clothes possible on purpose. It hurts my head. It hurts my face. It hurts my eyes. But it's funny.
I have Googled and I see what you're saying.
Yeah, see?
Ooh. Wow.
I wonder sometimes if they, and I'd love to know one day, if they made the pieces that they have her wear or found them, kind of mixed it together. I didn't really expect the reaction Okada got. I guess a lot of New Japan fans in attendance. And after that, I was like wondering, well, maybe it's just one of those instances where there's a lot of New Japan fans and like everyone who is from New Japan is going to get a big pop. None of them got pops quite the way that Okada got. So I thought that was interesting. A good thing.
because we see Okada all the time, and then like he was the ace of New Japan, so like the fact that he's even there is an honor. So like we'll definitely talk about the New Japan talent.
A little bit surprised at the what he got. That was one match that I kind of wish was a little longer, because I thought the six of them worked well together. And more than anything, I would have liked a stronger showing for the Acclaimed, who are the number one contenders right now. Why did they look so poor coming out of that? You know what I mean? They got beaten and got beaten pretty soundly.
Max Caster actually got a really long rap, and it was just like venomous as fuck too, where it's just like, you guys killed Okada's career. And I'm like, hey.
Started slow and went like,
yeah. And he's like, you a bitch. And you're like, I did not expect this from the Acclaim. Like, all right. And so starting off like that, and then seeing Okada, and it was an okay match. Like, it's just there.
Just
like,
there. Another one that could have been on Dynamite or Collision. Yes.
There's too many matches.
Yes.
They're getting their money's worth with the length of these pay-per-views, but
yes, true.
Too many matches.
Yes. Why was that there? They didn't need to be there. Another one that didn't quite need to be there, except for, featuring the New Japan talent, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would have wanted to see the Acclaim do better. So it doesn't, I mean, they were never going to drop the titles to them in the first place, but it doesn't mean they need to look so bad.
Yeah.
Danielson Takagi. Shingo's gear. Oh, that was fly as hell. Oh man, everyone from New Japan dresses up real big. They always come out looking amazing, but I thought was so great. And I gotta be honest, Shingo's pretty. That's a nice looking man.
Yeah, I mean,
I enjoyed it every time.
Is he? No, it's Dave Finlay. I'm blanking because I hadn't watched New Japan in a while. I know somebody was in charge of the Bullet Club, and I don't think it was Shingo, but that match was great. Getting back to the other match, and this is going to be a theme of of the evening. Those guys that were in New Japan and they're big names were big names 9 years ago, and right now we're seeing them in their washed phase.
A little bit. I got that.
So Tanahashi,
on some of that, yes.
Tanahashi is washed because they take such a beating in their bodies and shit, and then Okada was just like, fuck all that. Let me go to America.
Yes.
So a lot of times you're just like, oh shit, this person is almost decrepit.
That was a hard won match. Takagi's counter on Danielson out of the ropes, that was great. They had some real great spots. You're probably right about Danielson, at least winning over Pac, but I don't really know who I want for that because I want more for both of them. I want Danielson to, maybe have a title shot, if not a title run. I want Pac to have more of these, opportunities. That's going to be one where I'm going to be I really can't pick one. That's going to be my, Bianca Sasha moment. I love you both, and I really can't pick. Tony Mina. Tony's entrance was hilarious. I didn't see that coming. The whole Statue of Liberty thing. She had any opportunity to be a ham, she's taking it. I love it.
Mariah May on a pole match.
I've been hearing a lot about that. And in what I've been listening to the last couple of days, I guess I got to see that. Who was that against?
It was Dominic's custody. It was Dominic's custody on it was a ladder match at SummerSlam 05 with Eddie and Rey Mysterio, and it was. Oh no,
I mean Mariah May's pole match.
No, I'm just saying. Sorry, I got it.
Because if that's a joke, I heard someone else make the exact same joke today.
Oh, that was me.
That's a funny thing because
we sent that in the text group chat.
You're not gonna believe it. They made that exact same joke on Masked Man today.
No.
Well, to the point that I thought it was an actual match
creative.
You guys were watching.
I'm more creative. I don't give a fuck about that. No, but
it's because her last name and you put pole next with the Maypole. That's what makes me laugh. That's what I was like. I'm like, because I thought it was a real match too, because I'm dumb. Yes. And I was like, oh, they did a Maypole because of her name. I was like, what's going on? Confused.
I liked what Mariah was wearing, both physically and the distress on her face. It gave me a little bit of Miss Elizabeth.
Where it's just everything is just high stakes. Yes. Where you're you need to calm the fuck down.
Seriously, yeah. I don't get to see, well, I feel like I don't get to see figure fours around the post anymore. That was great. I gotta see more of that.
Yeah.
And the strength that Mina needs for glamorous driver that she does, just wow. She literally picked her up.
You realize that Tony was a very, very known, she was in Stardom. She was wrestling that way.
Yeah.
And obviously she was using the theatrics of, I'm a 1940s movie star, but she knows how to wrestle that way.
Yeah.
And just having the element of they're fighting for a woman's love is hilarious.
A woman's affection.
Yes.
She's my friend. She's my friend. She's my friend. I wonder if they're signing Mina. I think they have to. I think this is the one out of all the women that they've featured, just coming in who aren't signed, that they absolutely need to move forward and sign. There's so much more to be done there with those three. And I think she would fit in perfectly into the roster. Okay, Zack Sabre Jr. and Orange Cassidy. Have we gotten to hear Zack on the mic in this run up to this poorly built match? I love hearing Zack on the mic. I can't remember if he's done it in this, for this one, but he's so fun.
Yeah, him and Orange had a backstage thing, and he talked a little bit, but Zack Sabre is one of those guys who, if you ever like went into somebody's house and stole some shit, and then the owner came in, like the last person you would want it to be is Zack Sabre Jr. because that motherfucker will just like, all right, I'm gonna do this really painful, fucked up move until the police get here, and you're like, oh god, I'm in a goddamn pretzel right now.
He's very Snatch to me. He would fit right in that group of guys in the Snatch.
Yeah, like in the story of Orange having so much on his mind is the reason why he ends up losing the match is good. They're just not telling it well. I don't know where.
No.
I don't know where what's his name is.
Trent?
Yeah, I don't know where he is, but that's literally the story.
Yeah. It was a little weird. I was like, at the end there, are we gonna get like a heel turn or something? Because obviously they'll have to do something new with him next, but I don't know exactly what it will be. But fun match. They're so like similar, and like especially in their hair too, and in their like body types. They almost seem like the same guy, just one blonde and one redheaded. Especially with like all the the back and forth countering. And that submission at the end, like, wow. It's like, oh my God, he's got everything. I was like, Jesus.
Yeah, like I said, it's just like, if you saw that guy doing that shit, you would be like, nah.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope. All right. The Learning Tree. This time with Jeff Cobb instead of Brian Keith. I did not know that Brian Keith got injured. That makes me sad. Against Hook, Joe, and Shibata. Bro, Jeff Cobb is such a big guy.
Oh yeah,
he's huge. And then when you see him across from like Samoa Joe, you see that even Joe is like a little bit bigger, but still they're just huge. Just give us Joe versus Cobb already. Just do that.
Yeah, so he's a big man. He's 5'11" and 263.
Yeah,
that's broad. Jesus,
that's a big dude. Yeah, he's like he's Gimli built.
Gimli built. That's it. Thank you. I knew he looked familiar. Like,
right,
yes.
Like, you know how in Lord of the Rings, the dwarves are just like these solid square people? He's a solid square man.
Yes. Fire hydrants.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
I'm consistently impressed by Hook. Anytime he's in the match, he does something great and awesome and picks up someone he should not be able to pick up. But laying out Jericho with his own finisher, that's
and the
pretty
shit
cute.
version of it. It was a very shit version of it too. I was just like, all right.
Jericho sold it.
Yeah, and like in the back, Jericho was just like, you motherfucker.
Diverting and interesting to watch. Much, I guess, as much as this ladder match. I didn't even realize how many people were there.
Yeah, they just get him on the fucking
right. Card. Like, who is this white boy named Phantasmo? Like, okay. And did that boy really come out with a fucking goat on his head? Like,
yeah,
that's enough. Like, nobody cares. And now they call him the scapegoat. Like, does anybody care that much? Has fetch happened? Because I don't. It's not fetch to me.
It's funny because people say that he actually drives the bus around the country. The scapegoat bus.
I need to look this up.
Like, it was on Twitter. It's just like, hey, I just drove by the scapegoat bus.
Jack Perry has a bus.
Yeah, it was the one that he tried. It's the one that he tried to kill Darby Allin with in the last pay-per-view.
Oh my God. I'm looking at this right now.
That's enough. Don't need that. I so don't need that.
It's got it like drawn on there.
Ugh.
Apparently Anna Jay was with him. Whoever that is. I don't know.
That's his lady. That's his lady.
Yeah.
Okay.
speaking of Anna Jay, who just got World Star Hip Hop famous.
Oh no, why?
Come on.
What happened?
No, she got ass on her. That's why. Because people are like
Oh.
now.
Oh.
Yeah, now they're like, what? What? Wrestling's awesome.
My God. Late. Jesus. She's always had, but
Oh wow, it's a real bust that he painted and everything.
that's
Hey.
really, really desperately irritating. Like, enough. I don't care. Maybe you know what? If you care, great. But I'm just not. I don't need. They make it into a whole gimmick.
And with that match, I'm like, I literally told you this like a month ago when Edge was a 50-year-old man who decided to land on his feet on a fucking 20-foot drop.
Yep.
I was just like, it's gonna be Jack Perry.
Yeah.
It's gonna
In fact,
like,
when they came out and said we're gonna give it to him, I figured they would. That Briscoe and Takeshita spot. Wow. That was crazy.
Yeah.
Loved man, Briscoe could at least once a match he's gonna do something like that. Something with a chair that I'm not gonna expect, that I'm not gonna see coming, and it's gonna be wild. That was great. The purple nurple and Jack Perry was also pretty funny too.
The fact that you just said purple nurple, and I know exactly what they did to him because I know exactly what that is.
Yes, because of all things that you could do with when you're on the ladder across from someone, normally to push or punch. This guy went for the nipples. I was like, oh my God.
To be fair, they're a very sensitive part of the body. You don't want
the most
those
sensitive part of the body.
Yes, it did work. It did work. I don't know why they don't put at least one of the ROH titles on Takeshita, because it's very clear by now that everybody is so very confused about the way they're booking him. Crowd is behind him all the time. He was definitely a standout in that match. He's a standout in all matches. You have all these belts, just fucking tidal wave of belts. Give him an ROH one. Like, come on, the fuck.
Yeah. It's ridiculous.
Before that spot with Phantasmo like through the tables, I thought he was standout. After that, MVP. And if it wasn't for Jack and the whole elite thing and all that, he probably would have that title. It would probably be his. Mercedes and Stephanie. Stephanie coming down that ramp with 3 titles, looking like the thing from Pan's Labyrinth with the horns, to whatever metal music that was. She looked cool as hell, man. She is my new fave. Man, she's fucking awesome.
Those horns are pretty cool.
Right?
Yeah, this was a star-making performance.
For sure. Yes, for sure.
When you see her and you're just like, oh man, like this is a star in the making.
Yes.
And obviously Mercedes is one of the best wrestlers in the world, so like she made her look like $1 million. The match was fun. Stephanie does a lot of reversals. Like the reversals she was getting off, I was just like, man, that's really, really good. Like the one that she used her legs to get that submission. Yeah. After they did the 3 Amigos, I was just like, wow, that is really impressive.
She moves a lot. She moves with speed. She has a lot of speed and ingenuity in the way that kind of reminds me of Osprey. Like I wouldn't have expected to see that, and yet there the fuck it is, and it makes sense. Okay. Yeah. Mercedes needs a new dance immediately, post haste. Get her a choreographer.
You don't like the
right now. Get her someone to teach her a new thing so she can do it.
I mean, she's one of our best black champions. She has 0 rhythm, but she's one of our best.
She doesn't have to keep doing that. I don't know why she does it.
Said that from the beginning about the dancing, Drew.
I'm getting tired of seeing it because it's every time. Please stop.
She needs to hire Chuck Pilastri.
These spirit fingers.
There we go. Sparky, that's his name. I don't know why I said Chuck.
Yes.
Anyway, Sparky, that guy. Get some spirit fingers.
She dropped a title. She still has 2. It's fine. You're right. And we knew that because, outside of it, outside of kayfabe, but because she's not signed to AEW, she was unlikely to walk away with one of their titles. But I actually wouldn't have been mad if she did, because she's that good. Because it was that great of a star-making turn for her. Especially that move when she like dragged Mercedes off the corner by her leg like that, like ouch, shit. And it was real quick and like came out of nowhere. Not only was it an impressive move, it was surprising. There was a lot of surprise from her. But we did know that Mercedes was going to pick up that title. I did like it was also that way of tying up that, her getting something that she was looking for before because they'd met, previously in that, and the whole, Willow thing, her getting that title now makes sense. It ties up that story. I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
But can the doctor see me now? Britt Baker's back. Yes.
What did I say months ago? It's funny because I was thinking at the end, when that inevitably happens when her and Britt Baker wrestle, there's gonna be dueling chants. CEO DMD, CEO DMD.
Oh, that's
what's
gonna
happen.
be fun.
I was just like, when the CEO thing is cool, but when the inevitable CEO DMD thing happens, that's when you're cooking with
3 letters. I actually like got chills. I was like, oh, she's back. I did miss her. I gotta admit, I missed her.
Yeah,
I did. And you know what? I think, Britt's better on the mic than Mercedes is. She's gonna talk circles around her, and that's interesting because Mercedes is the better wrestler, Britt's the better talker. And I wonder if that will still be the case because, Britt's been out for a good amount of time. Maybe we'll see some like improvement from her in the ring. Next, this is the stinker, huh?
Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Okay. Why? Why was it? You know what? It was the only one that was really difficult for me to focus on. And they did notice that it was moving at a slower pace than what we're used to from both of them. So it was like, all right, good. I'm not crazy. I had no idea that Moxley used a different theme in New Japan. And they put a lot of focus on New Japan here, like with them always talking about, him dropping to him. I feel like they said it several times, the different ref and Naito spitting on him. Not once, not twice, 3 whole times. Are you crazy? That man will lick your blood. He doesn't care about spit. And the ref moved the chair, which I thought was interesting. But it was very hard for me to focus on. Most of the matches that I watched, I sat down and watched, and I was interested in watching them. That was one that I kept reminding myself to look to sit through. But why was it?
Yeah, it was interesting. Like just watching that, I was just like, huh. Like when you're watching a match and you're just like, this guy is clearly washed, and Moxley.
Yeah,
like Moxley has an aura, but like his aura can't pull this match out. Like it's a match where you're just like, I know this is Forbidden Door, and that is the main belt, but
it's a shame that a match that ended up being so kind of boring was near the top of the card.
That belt means something. So like
it does, yeah.
And like the whole thing of just watching somebody who's washed wrestle, and you're just like, oh man, buddy, go home.
Yeah. How old is Naito?
I think it's not even how old he is. I think his just body has just been through so much. It's like Tanahashi.
He's only 42. Yeah.
Like his body has just been through so much, and now they just have to feed in the new kids. Like watching that match, I was just like, oof, this is rough.
Yeah, it was hard to sit there. But it ended, and we got best of the night. No question, right?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Am I a bad Negro for not knowing who Jim Jones is exactly? Like I know the name, but I confused him with the Kool-Aid guy.
That's who I thought he was.
Yeah.
That's who a lot of people thought he was. Like
okay. Like I know he's like a
As a person, yeah, as a
person.
person who grew up in the early 2000s, like we love the fucking Diplomat. So like that's how I know who Jim Jones is.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
like when he came out, I was just like, oh, all right.
To be very fair, when you Google Jim Jones, the first things that shows up is the cult leader.
Jonestown.
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you. I'm not crazy.
that's the first thing that shows up.
Like, I'm not bad.
American
Jonestown,
cult
not
leader
hip hop.
and
Jonestown.
oh yeah, his name is James Warren Jones. He's the guy that was an American cult leader and mass murderer who led the People's Temple between 1955 and 1978.
Oh, I know too much about that.
Yeah.
I probably read too much about it.
Why are his kids? Why do they have Wikipedia articles? Do I want to know? No, I don't. That's another story for another time.
Yes. We'll get back to it.
Yeah.
So watching this match felt like watching a basketball game where both teams are so evenly matched that each team scores in almost every possession, where they stay like within 2 to 3 points of each other for the entire game.
It's a back and forth game, yeah.
Yes. Like each and every move they had, the other guy was ready with a counter. That's the exact type of like basketball game I like to watch. If someone's too far ahead or too like it's when it's too one-sided, I'm like, this is fucking boring. Give me some this competition. These guys were just neck and neck the whole time and working at such a pace. Holy shit. This was some fucking wrestling. My God.
Yeah, it's just sometimes you need a match where two people are just like, all right, I can do this. And then with this match, you're just like, all right, what do you want to do? Cool. Let's do that. And then what do you want to do? Cool. And then at the end, you're like, oh, okay, we didn't say no to any of our ideas. And then that's what you get.
Yes. It was just fantastic to watch. And they also didn't forget about, building and story, people, because they made sure to show us Daniel Garcia and MJF waiting in the wings, watching all pensively, the way you watch. The hidden blade on Ospreay. I was like, when people use other people's moves, that's so fun. And then an accidental hidden blade on the ref. Oh, man.
It, like, no matter how this sliced out, Ospreay looks strong, even though he lost.
Yes.
Because he kicked out of multiple finishers, which, is a huge problem with AEW and me.
Yes.
And
I was worried for a second. Like,
every time I think I see Will Ospreay and then they bring up Don Callis, I'm like, the fuck does Don Callis have to do with this? And I'm like, oh, I forget that storyline.
Exactly.
And I feel the next couple days he's gonna dump Will Ospreay because he's a loser, even though he's only lost one match.
Yeah.
And then that's when you're gonna get his full good guy run.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. But that made me nervous because Callis comes out and I'm like, oh no, oh please no, don't let Swerve lose like this, just please not. But then we get manager versus manager with Prince Nana getting in his face. We don't get to see a lot of that these days because there's not a lot of managers out there. Usually someone only has the one, but when each person has someone backing them up and then they fight, that's fun. That's retro. I like it.
Yeah.
I can't remember anyone kicking out of the stomp. And a kick to the head. And I was like, fuck. Like there were 2 or 3 instances right at the end there where he kept kicking out. And I was like, oh God, my heart is in my throat. Which way is it gonna go? But it was at that point where like, he's obviously like, about to fall or whatever, like,
mm-hmm.
in Power Rangers when, they've hit the right move and they're swaying and they're going to fall. So it gives him one more kick, one more finisher, and best defense by far.
Mm-hmm.
Ospreay gets handed his first loss.
Swerve needed this more than Ospreay.
Did. 100%.
Like,
mm-hmm.
in a weird way, I think the timing could have potentially just been this match right after Dynasty, and then Ospreay goes on to win the international belt. It would have made more sense.
Oh, yes, it would have.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So.
I think that's part of why Ospreay still looks good because he still essentially has like, their IC title. He still is the, I guess, other best guy in the company.
Yeah.
It's not like he doesn't have his own thing to do, and he is not like he's not defending that on a regular basis and having great matches. Doesn't look that, especially the kind of Was it gay? It was kind of gay. The the touching foreheads, and then Kyle Fletcher, the Coil Fletcher, they're doing the same thing also.
With the terrible haircut. Like Will Ospreay's hair, it was just off on this match.
Right? I was thinking that. I was like, why do you keep doing this with your hair?
It's
and
like
it's getting longer, so it's just on purpose. It's so deliberately bad.
Yeah, it's the broccoli haircut that all the white kids that want to be black have now.
Oh, the perm thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The front forward perm where it's all here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like right to the forehead.
Yeah.
It's like all those weird Twitch streamers that fucking are prank people where it's just like,
oh,
it's like, ha 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 ha, ha. I kicked you in the balls, ha 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 ha. Like and subscribe, y'all. Like that was the haircut he had.
that is funny that all these kids are getting perms, and that man probably got a perm too.
It's like, ha, like he's 30, so like you don't need a broccoli haircut that bad.
So, what did you think of Forbidden Door overall? I thought overall it was great. And that's the thing about AEW pay-per-views. They're always pretty good. They're always really good. They always have a bunch of really good matches.
You said
and I'm beginning to wonder if they know they're doing that. I'm beginning to think that they tend to have very good pay-per-views because they have a bunch of really good wrestlers. And they just put people across from each other and say, do what you do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a wrestling company. Like the sports entertainment keeps you there. Like that's what gets the ratings. Like sometimes people don't care about the fucking matches. Like the most interesting things that are happening in WWE are the sports entertainment elements. Like Paul Heyman getting beat up, the Wyatts, fucking Liv Morgan and Dom.
Yeah.
Like they're all sports entertainment elements, but when you watch AEW, it's about the wrestling.
Yeah,
like they made a wrestling company for one guy's ratings, and that's Meltzer. They literally are like, all right, this is what Meltzer's gonna like, and this is what Meltzer's gonna like. Yeah. And then you'll have a women's match that he's not really gonna like, but let's get rid of that, and then he'll like this match, and then he'll like this match.
See, so the pay-per-views are good because they have good wrestlers, and not necessarily because they book them well. Is that just me?
Yeah.
What's your overall grade?
It's like a 7 or a 6. Like it's when you see so much good wrestling that it just kind of numbs you sometimes, where you're like, yeah, I just expect it to be good. Like,
yeah.
So
I'll give it an 8. I'm gonna give it an 8 because Swerve was so great. Mercedes Stephanie was so great. Ladder match was great. That was a fun ladder match. Even with the obvious conclusion to that.
Yeah.
And Britt. And a return. And a return. A return is always great. That's what you do with a pay-per-view. You have 3 really good matches and a return. And boom, that's it.
It's like they're doing the opposite of WWE. It's just like let's hold on for all the cool shit for Corpus Christi, Texas. It's like those fuckers in Glasgow, they paid $9 million for tickets. Let's just save all the stuff for Corpus Christi, Texas, because they are really deserving.
All right, follow us on the social feeds. At YouTube, we are at Home Wrestling League. Twitter, we are at @the_HWL, and Instagram and Threads, where we are now, we are at home_wrestling_league. If you're listening on Spotify, check out the poll and the Q&A. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a 5-star rating if you like us. And also, if you're watching on YouTube, give us a like there. Give us some comments. You too, KP, not just you. I want the doctor to see me now. I'm so excited I don't know why I'm so excited for Britt to be back. Maybe it's because I don't get a lot of really good promos from women these days.
Well, you're not going to get one from Sasha. I mean, you're not going to get it from Mercedes.
Nope. So I got to get it from somebody.
Yeah.
and just like the way Mercedes promos ends, our show ends, they just kind of stop.